The house we rented had one room locked from the inside. When my sister Emma suggested we rent a house outside the city for the summer, it sounded like the perfect idea. I had just finished a stressful semester at college, and she needed a break from work. We wanted something quiet, somewhere with trees, maybe a lake nearby, a place where nothing ever happened. We found the house online. It looked beautiful in the photos, a two-story wooden house surrounded by tall pine trees. The listing said it had been built in the 1970s but renovated recently. 3 bedrooms, large kitchen, big backyard, and the price was strangely cheap. Emma joked about it. Either it's haunted, she said, or the owner just wants someone to water the plants. I laughed. At the time, that didn't seem funny at all. We arrived on a warm Saturday afternoon. The road leading to the house was narrow and quiet. No other houses nearby, just trees and an old gravel driveway. The house looked exactly like the pictures, maybe even nicer. The owner had left the key in a lockbox by the door. Inside, the house smelled like dust and old wood, but everything looked clean. The living room had large windows facing the forest. Sunlight filled the room in long golden stripes. Emma walked through the house excitedly, opening cabinets and windows. "This place is perfect," she said. And honestly, it was. Until we got to the hallway upstairs. There were 4 doors. 3 of them opened normally. One of them did not. The last door was at the end of the hallway. It had a simple brass handle. Emma tried to open it. Locked. She shrugged. Probably storage. I looked closer. There was no keyhole, just a lock on the inside, which meant something strange. The door was locked from the inside. We asked the owner later that evening. He was an older man named Mr. Keller. He answered the phone after a few rings. "Oh, that room," he said casually. "Don't worry about it." Emma laughed. "That's not suspicious at all." He continued speaking like it was nothing. "It's an old maintenance room. Nothing important in there. I lost the key years ago." I looked at Emma. "Then how is it locked from the inside?" There was a pause on the phone. Then he said something strange. "It must have been locked before." That answer made no sense, but we let it go, at least for the first night. The first strange thing happened around midnight. I woke up to a sound, a faint noise somewhere in the house, like a soft knock, 3 times. Knock, knock, knock. I sat up in bed. The hallway light was off. Everything was quiet again. I told myself it was probably the house settling. Old houses make noises. Still, I couldn't fall back asleep for a long time. The next morning, Emma mentioned something. "Did you hear that last night?" My stomach tightened. "Did you hear it too?" She nodded slowly. "Sounded like someone tapping on wood." We both looked toward the hallway, toward the locked room. Neither of us said anything. The second night was worse. At exactly 3:14 a.m., I woke up again. This time the sound was louder. Knock, knock, knock. 3 slow knocks, coming from the hallway. I opened my bedroom door. Emma was already standing there. She heard it too. We both stared at the door at the end of the hallway, the locked one. Then something happened that made my skin go cold. The handle moved, just slightly, as if someone inside the room had tried to turn it. Emma whispered, "Did you see that?" I nodded. Neither of us moved. The house was completely silent. Then a voice, soft, barely audible from the other side of the door. "Hello?" Emma grabbed my arm. I felt my heart racing. There was someone inside that room. We didn't sleep at all that night. At sunrise, we called Mr. Keller again. This time he answered much slower. Emma spoke first. "There's someone in the locked room." Silence. Then he said something that made everything worse. "That's impossible." "Then explain the knocking," she said. Another pause. Then he finally spoke again. "You shouldn't open that door." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" I asked, but he had already hung up. That afternoon, we bought a screwdriver and a small crowbar from a hammer store in town. Emma was determined. If someone's trapped in there, we can't just leave them. Part of me didn't want to do it. Something about that door felt wrong, but curiosity won. We waited until evening. The house felt different that night. Heavier. Quiet. We stood in the hallway staring at the door. Emma pushed the crowbar between the door and the frame. The wood cracked slightly. She pulled harder. The lock snapped. The door opened slowly. The room inside was dark and empty. Completely empty. Just dusty wooden floorboards and one small window. No furniture, no signs anyone had been there, no footprints, nothing. Emma looked confused. "So, who was knocking?" I didn't answer, because something on the wall caught my attention. Words scratched into the wood, hundreds of them, the same sentence repeated over and over. "Don't let him lock the door again." My chest tightened. Emma stepped closer. "Who wrote that?" Before I could answer, the door slammed shut behind us. The handle clicked. Locked. From the outside. And then 3 slow knocks echoed through the room. Knock, knock, knock. But this time, they weren't coming from the hallway. They were coming from inside the walls.